As you can tell by the title of this video, today I'm going to be talking business, content creation, YouTube, financial coaching, all these different things. And do not worry, I'm not going to be shifting to business-focused content. I'll probably just talk about business for a couple of videos depending on the questions that I get in this video, but that is not where I want to take this channel. Like, this is still going to be personal finance. I'm not the person who wants to talk about like YouTube channels, business in general. I do absolutely love talking about it, but I don't want to teach all of that or create all sorts of content around it, okay? Now this is probably going to be a long video, so I will have timestamps and you can click around for whatever, sticks out to you. Also, if I really don't know what to talk about in this video, so I kind of outlined things. I know what I want to talk about, but if you have any specific questions or things that I didn't address, then feel free to ask me those. I will happily film another video, or I can respond in short form content or whatever the case may be. But I'm going to start by sharing a bit of my journey and how I got to this point. So as of right now, I am fully self-employed. I quit my job in May of 2024, and I don't think I could ever go back to a 9-to-5 job. If I were to go back to a job of any kind, it would be something part-time and it would be way more chill. Like, it's not going to be like a 9-to-5 tech job like I was at before. It would probably be something like working at a gym and like teaching some fitness classes, or working at a library or a bookstore or something like that. But even that, like, that's not something that I'm considering right now. That's just like if it came to it. For those who don't know, I am a content creator. Clearly, I primarily am on YouTube. I have been trying to grow my TikTok. It's something that I wish I started sooner. I wish I started back in 2020 and hopped on the TikTok game, but yeah, kind of late to that game and just am trying to build it, but I don't even know at this point. So YouTube is my main platform. I am also a financial coach. I've been doing that since 2020, and I help people to budget. I hold them accountable. We make a savings plan, debt payoff plan, if applicable, investing plan, all the things. Anything with personal finance, it usually comes up during client calls. So at any given time, I am working with a few people. It can be as few as like my regulars. I have some OG clients who I've been working with for like years, and sometimes it'll be like 4 to 5 people in the month, and sometimes it's over 10. It just depends. Most of my money at this point does come from YouTube. The money that I make from YouTube, though, is not enough to live off of. I get asked that a lot, but I'll come back to that. So the next thing that I make the most money from is coaching, and that's something that I've continuously been working on building and increasing, but the two of them, that's where I make the most money. However, by being a content creator and having a platform, I also make money from affiliate sales. So if somebody makes a purchase through my link or signs up through my link, I typically earn a small commission. Sponsorships is another way that I make money. So I may work with a company and promote the brand, and then they pay me either a flat fee or a flat fee plus affiliate sales. Referrals, those are similar to affiliates, but it's like, okay, I can refer up to 10 people in the year for certain credit cards, or up to 5 people in the year, and each referral I get $100, for example. And then I have an Etsy shop, which I don't earn too much from, but it's kind of passive at this point because it's templates that I've put together, and then the product is just listed on Etsy, and those continue to sell on a regular basis as well. I have some financial stickers for sale. And if we go back to when I first started posting content on YouTube, that would be 2011. Which is crazy. I actually started a YouTube channel with my sister. Our channel name was Beauty Delish, which is, it's just really cringe and embarrassing. But we started out making some videos together. We would talk about like beauty stuff, do a beauty haul or Target haul, just random things, what's in our bag, makeup tutorials, all these different things. At some point, my sister no longer was creating content, so it just became me. So instead of Beauty Delish, I took over that channel. I don't remember how many subscribers we got to. It was definitely not monetized, but switched that over to Living Like Layla, which is my lifestyle channel, and I still have that channel up, and I regularly post content there as well. When I shifted to creating content on my own for that channel, I was still very focused on beauty content and shopping and all those different like girly things. that was like the big thing with YouTube, and that was a lot of the content that I consumed as well. So I was watching what's in my bag. I was watching makeup tutorials or different hauls and beauty things. So I was doing the same thing. Plus I really enjoyed those things at the time. Like I liked to go shopping. I liked to wear makeup. I liked buying makeup. So it was me just spending a lot of money. Honestly, I had a shopping problem while I was in college, because that's 2011 is when I graduated high school, and then I started my freshman year of college that year as well. And I don't remember how frequently I was posting on YouTube, but it was probably like at least once a week. And I think I got monetized at some point while I was in college, but if I was making any money, it was like, in order to get paid out from YouTube, you have to make, well, you know, you get monetized, but in order to get a payout, you have to reach $100. And then again, if you want to get paid out again, you have to reach $100 again. So if I was getting paid out, it would take like months and months until I reached that $100 payout for me to actually make money. So it was very few and far between. It was like nothing that I was making. And even still to this day, my lifestyle channel doesn't make much money. So it's like barely nothing. I kind of just do it for fun at this point. But basically what I'm getting at here is that I always wanted to be a YouTuber. Like I always consumed a lot of YouTube, and I also wanted to be a YouTuber. Like that was the big ultimate goal. And it's really cool because it ended up working out that way. But I also wanted to be a blogger. So that was, I feel like I wanted to be a blogger more than I wanted to be a YouTuber. So this is like having a blog, a website. I created Living Like Layla at some point while I was in college. Maybe it was, I want to say it was like 2013, and I was posting weekly on that blog. I actually look back, I was such a good writer, and honestly, I've lost that. I've lost that skill of writing. I sometimes go back and look at my blogs. This was also lifestyle content, so health and fitness, personal development was huge. I was super into personal development at this time as well. I was always listening to Tony Robbins and Gary Vee, like all these different motivational people, and I really liked to learn about it, but I really loved writing about it. Here and there, I would actually write about money, which is funny. Sometimes I would dabble in like the fashion and beauty stuff as well. But yeah, really it eventually just got to personal development and like the health side of things. And that blog is still up to this day. Like you can go and read my old blog posts, and I really enjoyed writing. So I was always writing a blog post. It was like weekly. I think I had a newsletter at some point, but probably I didn't really keep up with that. I was very active on Pinterest. I grew my Pinterest to, I think at this point I have like 25,000 followers there, which was pretty good. And that was really what I wanted to do. Like I was investing some money into like learning about blogging and affiliate marketing, because that's also relevant to blogging. You can put links on your website and people click the link, make a purchase, and I would get paid for it. So I was still making some money then from affiliate marketing. And then eventually I got into Mediavine, which now it's really hard to get into Mediavine. But at the time, this was several years ago, I reached enough views and all of that. Like you have to get a certain amount of page views for a certain amount of time to get into Mediavine, and that helped a ton. So I was making a few hundred per month from my blog, but I never really got anywhere crazy far with it. So yes, I did make several thousand each year after that from ads on livinglikelayla.com. I still make money from it, even though I don't post there. It's not as much these days, but it's still just going on in the background, which is nice. But then toward the end of 2019, I was already actively paying off my debt, working on increasing my income from side hustles. I had a actual like career at that point. And I was like, I want to talk about finance. Like at this point, I was obsessed with finances already, my own finances, learning about it. I had been listening to the Choose FI podcast, and I'm like, I want to talk about this. So I was like, I think I'm going to create a new channel focused just on personal finance. Something big throughout the last few years, like before that, was niching down. Like that's always been a big thing. It still is, like niching down to one specific topic. And I knew that just having a YouTube channel and a blog focused on lifestyle, it wasn't going anywhere. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to document my journey, create a personal finance channel. Obviously, I incorporated some educational content into there as well as I was learning. And within about 10 months of that new channel, I got monetized, and my growth was slow after that. It still is. It still is to this day. So I was able to reach several thousand subscribers within about a year or so, and was making a few hundred bucks per month, just depending on the month. Every month is different. And yeah, I just kept posting. beginning, I was posting 2 times a week. Obviously, I was still working my full-time job. In 2020, I decided I wanted to be a financial coach. Actually, before that, I was like, I want to be a financial coach. It was like early 2020, I guess. And I knew I wanted to do that, but I felt, I guess, some imposter syndrome. I'm like, I have debt. I'm 20-something years old. I don't have any certifications or degrees in finance. Like, why would anybody trust me? But then I listened to an episode of Choose FI where Tiffany, the budgetnista, she was a guest on the podcast, and she talked about doing financial coaching. So she was like in the finance space, I believe. I'll put the podcast in the description box because I can't completely remember it all, but I remember listening to that and I was like, oh my God, I can do this. Like this was my sign, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I don't need a certification. I had looked into like Dave Ramsey's certification, but I didn't follow the path of Dave Ramsey. You know, I didn't do the baby steps. I didn't like that I couldn't invest at the same time as paying off debt, or I didn't like how he was like, no travel, no like beans and rice forever. Like that wasn't my style. So I'm like, I want to do my own thing. Like I have proof of this working. I am living it, you know? So I started coaching. I'll talk about that in just a bit. I'll have like a whole section dedicated to coaching and like how I've built that up, because I know some people want to do that. But that's really the gist of it. Like I just kept going. I kept posting on YouTube. I kept getting clients, and it slowly has grown. Each year I've seen my income increase a little bit, and all of that allowed me to pay off more debt, invest more money, save more money, blah, blah, blah. Always in the background, I was like, this is what I want to do full time. Like that was always my goal. And then come early 2024, I was full on burnt out. I've been burnt out since college. I wouldn't say I'm burnt out anymore. Like I feel so much better now, but I was just always hustling, working my 9 to 5. I would wake up early to, you know, back a few years ago, I would wake up at 4:30. I would be writing for a blog post, or I was like creating courses, and then I would go to work. I would come home, go to the gym, film a video. I was just always working. And I'm honestly somewhat of a workaholic. I feel like I've gotten better lately, but to me it was all worth it. You know, it was things that I enjoyed doing. I really liked editing videos. I liked writing. I liked working with clients. Like all of these things were so fun to me. So yeah, there were some times I didn't want to, obviously I'm not motivated, or really motivation isn't the key behind all of it. It's just discipline. Like I had a lot of discipline around my side hustles, and I'm like, okay, if I want to make this a full-time thing, I've got to keep going. I've got to be consistent. It's also just very much in like who I am as a person. I don't know where it comes from, to be honest. But yeah, by early 2024, I had a number of clients. I was working my full-time job. I was posting on YouTube, I think 3 times a week at that point. At that point, I was working my Salesforce consulting job. So there were also a lot of evenings where I had to work late because of the job. And, you know, I was a consultant, so it was based on billable hours. So I could be flexible. If I was working until 8 p.m. on a Tuesday, that means I could stop working at, you know, like 3 p.m. on Friday, and I can work. It was very flexible as far as that goes. But for me, that was just contributing more to the burnout and the stress and the like frustration I felt around working a 9 to 5 job. And it was also really soul sucking, like just doing things that you don't care about, you're not passionate about. It wasn't fulfilling. These clients are like literally acting as if their company is saving lives, and it's like, y'all are it's not that urgent. It's not that serious, you know? And then I would be missing the gym a lot of the time because after work I had client calls, and then I'm like, I skipped the gym 3 times this week and I don't want to do that anymore. So ultimately I left my job. And what I ended up telling myself, well, first of all, I discussed this with my now fiance. So I was already living here with him. And I'm like, are you okay with me leaving my job? And he said yes. He said he believed in me and supported me. So I was like, okay, that's important. Like if he didn't approve of it, then I like probably wouldn't have left my job. But at that point, I felt pretty confident in taking things full time. And I was like, okay, if I have to pull from my emergency fund 3 months in a row, because at this point I had paid off all my debt, I had built up a savings, like I was pretty financially stable. So I was like, if I have to pull from my emergency fund 3 months in a row, then I know that something's wrong and I will need to go back to work, or, you know, find some other form of income. And that's still kind of what I live by. Like it's not constantly in my mind, but I guess it's in the back of my mind. But I'm grateful to say I have seen growth in my business, and I have not had to pull from my emergency fund, and I'm good. Like, it's still going, and I have lots of plans to continue to grow my business. And outside of the blogging, outside of the YouTube, outside of the coaching, I've tried so many different things. Like, I've tried to make jewelry. I had created some digital downloads. I sold the jewelry on Etsy. I probably made like not even $100 from that. Same with the digital downloads. I was creating like these printable art pieces. That was probably not even $50. I don't know. I've created several courses throughout my lifetime. I had a Patreon, like a self-improvement Patreon. It was going live every week. I tried being a self-discipline coach. I had one client for that, and it was good until it wasn't. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to teach people self-discipline. Like, I honestly don't think it's something that you can like coach into people. So that didn't go too well. I've tried so many things, and really the main thing that has stuck is the finance stuff. I still want to be a financial YouTuber. I still post on my lifestyle channel, but that, like I said, doesn't make me much money. And then I still want to be a financial coach. Like, those are the things that actually stuck, and I want to continue doing them. Everything else was like, I don't like this, and then I moved on, or it wasn't working out. That was a whole lot of talking. I think that basically covers everything as far as my journey goes, but yeah, if I miss anything, or if you have specific questions about all of that, I'm happy to answer. So now let me talk about YouTube and financial coaching separately. I'm going to start with YouTube. Like I said, I've been on YouTube since 2011. Now, am I a YouTube expert? No, not by any means. I also am somebody who I still can put in more effort into learning editing and just like learning YouTube strategy in general, but it's something I've honestly been kind of lazy about, because it's like, this is working, I'm fine with it. I don't want to, like, there's so much more I could learn and implement, but it's not something that I've prioritized. And as I've said a couple of times now, the money that I make from YouTube, just YouTube ads itself, it's not enough to live off of. Like, I would have, if it was just me relying on YouTube ads, ad revenue, I would not be able to do this full time. So let me break it down for you. Actually, I will tell you right now. So and I've already talked about this stuff before, but in 2024, I made $15,467 just from YouTube ads. So obviously it's a decent amount as a side hustle, but not enough to live off of. And then so far this year, so from January through July, I've made $16,123 just from YouTube ads. So I'm going to make more this year from just YouTube ads, but I'm not at the point where YouTube generates enough revenue for me to just rely on that. That's not the case for everybody. So if you look at people like Graham Stephan, or there's tons of YouTubers like Mr. Beast and all these different people, they make enough money from ads. So it's absolutely possible. And even there's some smaller finance creators that don't even have 100,000 subscribers, that their videos get enough views and the CPM is high and all of that. So they make like a solid $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 per month just from YouTube ads. I would be good with that. That would be a lot of money for me. But yeah, so far that has not been the experience for me. I would love to make more money. The most I've ever made from YouTube in 1 month, I believe, it was in March earlier this year, $3,848. That was so much. That was like, whoa, this is crazy, and I would love to see that consistently and more than that. But so far, it's just kind of up and down, and on average, it's like $1,500 to $2,000 per month. It just depends. Oh, and for my lifestyle channel, because I know a lot of people from this channel also watch that, which I really appreciate. I think it's cool that like y'all are just interested in me as in general. I don't get many views per video there. It's like 500 to 2,000 per video. It just depends. But from that channel, I make like not even $100 per month. And that's included in that 16,000 figure so far this year. So that's why I said that channel is really just for fun at this point, because if I was, honestly, if I was smart, I would just stop posting on that channel, because it's a lot of time for not much payout, But I like to have the memories. I like vlogging. I think it's fun. A lot of the stuff that I pay for as well, I mention in that lifestyle content, so then I can write it off as a business expense. So that kind of weighs into my decision around continuing to create content there. But yeah, at this point, it's probably something I should just stop doing. But I do like having the memories, and I have lots of travel vlogs. I have old videos that include family, friends, my now fiance, like the whole time I've been vlogging while I've been with him. And it's just really cool to go back and see different stages of my life. There's pets that have passed away that are in my videos, so it's just nice to have all of that somewhere. Anyways, with YouTube, I'm obviously not the best person to come to for YouTube advice. For me, it's really just been about being consistent and not giving up on it. Like, I'm just going to keep on posting, whether that's 2 times per week, 3 times per week. I think I started by just doing 1 video per week, and there were some times that I was doing 4 videos per week. So I've always just shown up. If you do want to learn about creating content specifically for YouTube, there's a couple of people that I recommend. So the first person would be Steckly. I think she's like the best of the best as far as all of that goes. She will tell you how to film travel vlogs, how to film B-roll, just sit down videos, different editing techniques. Like, I think her channel is one of the best as far as learning about YouTube and like improving. Erin On Demand is also a great person to learn from, just as a entrepreneur in general. Like, she focuses a lot on content creation, but I know she has like a whole on business at this point. I haven't watched her recently, to be honest. The last person would be Millie Adrian, or Modern Millie. I don't watch her too much. I don't watch any of them too much. Like I said, I don't learn about YouTube strategy much. But I have watched them when it's like I wanted to learn something about YouTube, and I would say they're like the top 3. If you want a dude to watch, I would say Abdaal. He has like several courses, I believe, as well. And he's probably worth it. He's made a lot of money from YouTube. Everybody I mentioned, I will have linked down below in my description box. But yeah, if you really want to learn about it, don't learn from me. Go to somebody else. So for me, the most important thing with YouTube has been being myself, being transparent, being myself, like being authentic. I don't want to have to lie. Like, if you meet me in person, this is what I'm like. Sometimes people will say, this came up recently. Somebody had commented, "Oh, you need to smile more in your videos." And I hate when people tell me to smile more in my videos. Like, y'all, go sit down and film a video and tell me how often you're smiling during the video. I'm not somebody who can like this is, I don't know, it's hard for me to smile and talk at the same time unless I'm like actively laughing or something is making me smile. It's just, my face doesn't work that way, you know? So when people tell me to smile while creating my content, like aside from it pissing me off, it's just not me being authentic. It doesn't mean I'm not happy about the topic or like excited about it, but I'm not gonna show up differently on the camera than I would be in person, you know? Like, kind of what you see is what you get. Like, this is how I am in real life, and I don't want to have to pretend, because that would be exhausting personally for me. I don't want to have to lie about anything, because then there's more for you to keep up with. Just in general, I don't like lying. I'm not good at it, because you have to keep up with it. And why would I do that, you know? The way that I've presented myself on YouTube has gotten me to the point of where I'm at. And I think I do have a true following, and that is what I cherish more than having like 500,000 subscribers. Like, sure, one day, you know that my goal this year is to get to 100,000 subscribers or more. That's just like a vanity thing, and I want the plate, because I've been on YouTube since 2011, you know? I would love to get to that. But having people who are in the comments, like every single video people are watching, or if they're not, it's like the bulk of my videos, or even if they're not watching the full video, because they probably don't need to at this point, because they're fine with their finances, they are coming to my video to give it a like, to just comment on it. Like, I can name people by names, like Kat G, Libby or Elizabeth, Mara, Denise P. There's another Denise who's always commenting on my videos. Eddie, even though I know he's not even subscribed. Like, there's all these people, Aman, like there's all these people that, and I'm sorry if I could literally go through a whole list of names, so we'd be here for some time, but truly having that like knit community it's so cool. Like, y'all like me, and I really, really appreciate that. And in order for me to, the way that I got here was just by me being myself, me being open, me being, for the most part, I was like very relatable, I suppose. I know I probably lost some subscribers when I quit my job because that's not as relatable, you know, but this was like my dream. And I really appreciate the people who stuck around, where it's like, y'all knew that I wanted to do this full time and fully supported that and still continue to support that. I really value that. So you can go ahead and create a YouTube channel where you're like screaming at the camera, be a Logan Paul, be a Mr. Beast, whatever. And you're probably going to make more money that way, to be honest. But they don't give a shit about their subscribers. Like, truly, yeah, they probably don't. You know, a lot of those bigger ones do not. I'm not saying that for everybody, of course. It's just that I really, really appreciate what I've built here and what y'all have helped me to build here. And that's just been really important to me. The growth that I've seen on this channel has been very slow, but it's been consistent, slowly but steadily growing. And I really like that as well. Like, yes, I would love to have more subscribers, as we've already talked about. However, I honestly, if something were to, like, if things were to explode with my channel, I'm not sure how I would feel at the end of the day. Like, it's a lot of pressure. Then it's like, oh my God, I need to create more content just like that video, or just be a certain way. You know, I think it would be a lot of pressure. And by growing the way that I have, it's much more sustainable, because sometimes people will explode at the beginning and maybe they don't have enough videos on their channel, so people don't have content to watch, or a video explodes and they are one way in that video, but the rest of their videos, they're not that way, so people no longer want to watch. Or it just could have been one specific thing that blew up, and then all of your other content, you don't want to talk about that, you know? So I really like how I've grown, because it is sustainable. It's personal finance, it's me talking about my numbers, it's me educating, dabbling into the entertainment side, and I think it's worked well. So really the big thing with YouTube, and this is for me, but also for anybody who is interested in being a YouTuber, consistency. If you start, don't stop. That's like the main thing. I see so many people start. A lot of my clients, friends, just random people that I talk to, they're like, oh, I tried YouTube and then I gave up on it because I wasn't getting anywhere. Yeah, that's everybody. We all start with zero, and it's intimidating and it's frustrating, it's hard. But if you give up, then like you've already failed, you know? So consistency and just not giving up. Being yourself, being authentic, that has been huge. And YouTube, this is why I love YouTube, because if you've noticed lately, there's all these different people just popping up. They don't even make a nice thumbnail or anything. It's just a photo of them, and it could be like an ugly screen grab with maybe some text on there, and they're blowing up. It's like these older folks, even 70-year-olds, talking about whatever, and they have a huge following and are making money. YouTube is also really unpredictable. There's been some videos that I've posted that I didn't expect to get where they got to. I had posted an investing video back in February. It was 5 years investing. Here's how much I've made. I was like, okay, this might do okay. I didn't expect where it got to. It's one of my highest viewed videos, and I'm like, whoa, you know? And it was long. I didn't even feel that good about posting it. Like, it was fine, but I was like, nobody's gonna watch this. Like, it's not gonna do that well, just based off of what I've seen in the past. And it's one of my top performing videos. There's also been videos where I sit down to film and I'm like, oh my God, it's horrible. Like, I don't think I can even put this up. Then I go and edit it. I'm like, all right, this is fine. Done is better than perfect. That's always been my thing. Like, okay, I'll just post it. And I'm like, it's probably gonna get like 3,000 views. And then it gets like 12,000. I'm like, whoa, okay, that's cool. And then there's some videos where I'm like, this is gonna kill it. This is gonna do so good. I'm so proud of this. I put more effort in with editing. I just like the topic that I'm talking about. It flowed really naturally when I was filming and editing all these things. Then I put it up and it gets 2K views. Like, it's very unpredictable. So you could literally post a crappy video that you filmed on your phone, didn't edit it at all, have no pretty thumbnail, and get hundreds of thousands of views. Or you could also get the same thing by a really heavily edited video that you took hours and hours to film and edit, all these things. So it's just, you never know. But what I'm getting at with that is done is better than perfect. I'm not saying don't improve your game, you know? Like I said, I haven't really improved too much on YouTube, but some of it, you know, my thumbnails have gotten better. I've worked on talking, because if you go back and watch my old personal finance videos, I am so slow, and I'm so sorry that y'all had to listen to me. And I don't know how I grew during that time, because I can't even go back and listen to me. I hate how slow I was talking. But I think a lot of people get hung up on those little things like, oh, my background isn't good enough, or I don't have the right equipment, I blah, blah, blah. Like, no, you don't need to really, with anything that you're starting, this is YouTube or otherwise, I don't recommend investing a lot of money at the beginning. Like, you do not need a $1,000 camera. You don't need a mic. You don't need any of that. Like, start with your phone. You probably have a smartphone with a camera that films with high quality HD. It's going to come up on like 720 or 1080, whatever. The audio will be fine. You can literally just film in the front of a blank wall. Like, it's all fine, and you'd be surprised how far you can get. Just getting something out there is the hardest step, and then staying consistent is the next hardest thing, and then staying consistent while not seeing any results is the hardest thing. YouTube or otherwise, there were so many times I wanted to give up because I'm like, I'm putting in all this effort and nothing is happening. Even still, I'm like, oh my God, why am I not seeing growth like Graham Stephan? Why am I not making money like this person, that person? You start to compare yourself, and you're gonna do that. I can't say don't do that because I've done that many times, and it just naturally happens. But if you can focus on yourself, stay true to yourself, stay consistent, that's like the biggest thing. I've used a number of cameras throughout the years. I now own a few. The main one that I film on, like what I'm filming on now, is the Canon EOS M50. I think it was like $800 something, but I got like a kit, so I think like $850 altogether. I bought these microphones just last year. It was like about a year ago, so I haven't had them for too much time, but I do always have, but typically I have this microphone on this camera when I'm filming. Like if I'm not holding the mic, I'm using this one, which is like the Rode Micro. Rode is very good, but you don't, like I said, you don't need all of this when you're first starting. Like, just start with what you have and see if you even enjoy it, see if you'll even stick to it, because otherwise it's just money wasted. At the beginning and for years, I was just editing on my Windows laptop, so I forget Microsoft Movie, I don't know, it was awful. And then I got a MacBook in 2014 and I started using iMovie, and then I upgraded to Final Cut Pro maybe like 3 years ago. And you pay for, I think this was like $200, and it's just a one-time fee. So it was worth it at that point. But again, you don't need that from the beginning. iMovie or some other editing free platform is just as good. There is so much more that I could talk about with YouTube, but I want to answer y'all specific questions because I feel like at this point I'm rambling. I know somebody in the past has asked me what investments I've made that have been worth it and ones that I regret. I'm happy to have upgraded cameras throughout the years. I've had this one for a long time. I'm glad I have a MacBook, things like that, but that all just like took time. Otherwise, I really wasn't spending too much money for actual YouTube content creation. So like Final Cut Pro has been worth it. Yeah, the basics of filming has been worth it. Something I regret paying for are editors. I don't know if y'all remember, I think it was in 2023, and this is nothing against the editors. They were awesome. I loved talking to them. They were really good at what they did, but it was just so expensive and it wasn't worth it. So they were taking my long form videos, turning it into short form content, and they did great, but that type of content usually doesn't do well. The best short form content is gonna be you coming and filming a new video. So like not pulling from long form video, if that makes sense, like just a completely new clip. And I think I worked with them for 8 months and I paid them $800 a month. It's a lot of money that I could have invested. Now that was the year that I was making the most money, so I just was like using my full-time job money to pay for, you know, I had enough to be investing, to be saving, paid off all my debt, like I was good, but that money could have gone so much further elsewhere, and at the end of the day, it didn't really help me. One, short form videos do not make money. It's like, even still, I still want to create more short form content because it's fun, it's pretty easy, it helps you to get subscribers, but like my top performing short is the Fidelity, like how to invest your money in Fidelity, and I think it has several, I don't know how many views, but it's made me like $10, $12 maybe, 15, I don't know, somewhere around there. But typically short form videos on YouTube make like 80 cents. At the time, I was like, oh, this is gonna help me to get more followers, I'm gonna get more clients, I'm gonna be able to quit my job, like all these things. They really sold me the dream. There's, again, nothing against them. They were really awesome. They didn't even really try to like sell me that heavily. I'm just like easily influenced by anything. So I just was like, yeah, let's go for it and I'll give it a shot. So that was just to me, a waste of money because nothing really resulted from it. That's really the main thing. Throughout the years, I've bought many courses that I probably didn't even work through. I can't even remember at this point, but there's probably some courses I've bought that aren't worth it. Just if you're gonna buy a course, make sure you research it first and actually work through it. Like just do one at a time, focus on one thing at a time. With just in general, try to focus on one thing. That's like a big thing that I've, even still to this day, I'm multi-passionate. I do way too many things and it ultimately sabotages my success, but I have a hard time, like I was talking about with the lifestyle content. I should just eliminate that. I know I should, but there's some, like I can't give it up. I don't want to. I don't know. That's just always how I've been. And if I get a new idea, I try it. I'll just do it, you know, and I need to, I guess I make decisions really quickly, which is, it depends. So in general, I'm pretty indecisive, but when it comes to business things, I'm like, that's it. That's the next big thing. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be so successful with this. So I will act on things pretty quickly, like make a decision. I'm going to do it. And I've learned from that over the past few years. So now I try to slow down with things and like really think about it. But I'll make decisions, act on it, and then I'm like, I don't like this, or this isn't, like, this is taking up so much time. I'm really stressed out, or it's just not serving me. I'm not getting anywhere with this, and it's just a distraction, ultimately. So if you're that way as well, I do suggest trying to focus on, like, one thing at a time. Do just YouTube. Do just YouTube and, like, one other platform. For a lot of people, just do YouTube, you know, and don't worry about anything else, because I've made the mistake of doing that, and I still make the mistake of doing that just because I get excited about things and I want to see what could come from it. But I think the good thing about it is I also make decisions quickly about when I should end things. It's like, all right, this isn't serving me. I don't feel good about it. I'm just going to stop. I'm going to put an end to it, you know? So I've gotten good at that as well, at least. Oh, a very common question I get with YouTube is if I script my videos. Typically, no, I do not. I do not script my videos. I will outline videos. This video, I'm really annoying. I'm annoyed with myself because I don't know where I'm going. Everything's just hopping around. I kind of outlined, but I just didn't know what to talk about. So no, I don't script my videos. If I'm reading off of a script, you can tell. So I just talk, and I have outlines for videos, so I have some guidance of where I want to go. But some people really thrive off of scripting, and it can make things go faster, but I just kind of will sit down and talk and fix things while I'm editing. Let me know if y'all have questions on YouTube, but let's switch gears to focusing on financial coaching. As I said, I started financial coaching in 2020. It was, I think, like September, October time, and I started by offering free coaching. I was like, I think 4 people. I was like, I have room for 4 people. You're going to work with me for 3 months and it's going to be free. So pretty quickly, I was able to fill that up. I had 4 people lined up and I worked with them for 3 months for free. I was like, can you please give me a testimonial at the end of this? And I just want to see if I like it, see, you know, kind of learn from this whole thing. And that's exactly what I did. And I got my testimonial. Shout out to the first few clients that worked with me. I really appreciate y'all. That like is a game changer for me, you know? And I proved to myself, I want to do this. I can do this. I like it. So then January, the following year, I started charging, and it was a pretty low rate. I think I was doing like $50 for an hour. Like it was not much money. But I had people who wanted to work with me and who wanted to pay me. Even if it was $50 for an hour, I was like, okay, let's do this. So throughout the year, I continued to have a few new clients. I didn't have that many people. Let me go back to 2021 and see how much I made from coaching. Oh, that's not bad. So in 2021, my first full year of doing financial coaching, I made $3,396. In 2022, I made less than that, $2,158. 2023, $3,369. 2024, $15,166, and now so far this year I've made, honestly, not that much, but it's still not too bad. Where's it at? So far this year I've made $9,913. Now, for the longest, by the way, I don't have any certifications. I don't think it's necessary. If you want to learn about financial coaching, I highly recommend Kelsa Dickey. She has a podcast you can listen to for free. She also has a number of courses and programs that you can pay for. They're pretty expensive. I've never joined those. I actually never heard about Kelsa Dickey until late 2024. So I haven't even been listening to her for a year. So before that, it was literally just me doing things. Like I had my own templates. I had my own system. I had different packages and I like would switch them up every so often. I was basing my pricing off of just like seeing what other people were doing or thinking like, okay, I've skilled up, so I'm going to change my price to this, or inflation, factor that in, you know, so I really wasn't charging much. But yeah, I have no formal training around this. I have learned a lot from podcasts though, specifically Kelsa Dickey, and like making sure that I'm not pushing, like being biased around financial decisions. And that's what is really important. Like when it comes to financial coaching, the skills that you need, of course, would be like communication. I think just being flexible in a sense of like, you've got to meet your client where they're at, and just because like everybody's different, you know, and I'm a firm believer in that. That's why I never did like Dave Ramsey's certification or anything. And I don't really like that, because if you do that, you have to tell your client, no, you need to pay off all of your debt. I had a client who came to me actually just this past week and was like, I tried working with some Dave Ramsey coaches, but they were telling me I needed to sell my car and pay off my debt, like get rid of the car. Like, no, she's not going to have a car. And she, you know, so I'm like, oh yeah, that I definitely don't think you should sell your car, or that you should have to do that. So I think things are like, personal finance is personal, you know, so a customized plan is going to help people so much more than just like, this is how it needs to be. And that's always been my approach. Throughout my financial journey, I have made many mistakes and I've learned so much just naturally. I've also learned so much by listening to podcasts about personal finance, but I've also learned so much from my clients. Like there's a lot of clients who have very similar situations, but there are some clients who have unique things that I'm like, I'm not sure. Let me look into that, like filing bankruptcy or going through a divorce, or they have people garnishing their wages, or their credit score is so low that they can't even open a checking account. Like just by each new person that I work with, I'm learning so much more. So my skills have grown, my knowledge has grown, and I'm never going to pretend to know everything. Like if I don't know something, I'm like, I'll look into that and let me get back to you. And yeah, I've kind of created this system now where I feel really confident in the way that it works. And I worked with a LinkedIn coach late last year, and he encouraged me to increase my rates. So for the longest, I was not charging much for coaching, and I think that was a big mistake of mine. Like I could have been charging more over the last couple of years. And I'm really glad I worked with that LinkedIn coach, because I don't think I would have increased my prices to the point that I did without him. And, you know, I don't even post on LinkedIn like that anymore. I don't think I even got a client from LinkedIn at all. And that was the whole point of working with him. But just by him telling me to like the way to do it and selling and all of these things that I learned from him, that was a big game changer for the coaching side of things. And then more recently, I have set up systems. So in the past, this is really embarrassing. When I first started coaching, I was taking payments through Zelle or Venmo. And I've said this before, but I'm like so sorry to the people who worked with me when I was doing that, because I just don't think that's the way to go. You know, like you should be able to have an invoice, something to see like, this is what I paid for, you know? And then eventually I had like a booking form and all of these things. I got more legit, but more recently, very recent, in July, I had somebody help me set up HoneyBook. So my clients are in there, they pay me through there, payments are collected automatically, because in the past I was collecting payments like as clients were going, and that's how I like people could pay me for the first session or the first couple of sessions, but then just ghost me after that. And that's happened many times. That still happens, even when people have paid. Some people have paid me and just disappear. I'm like, hello, I'll reach out, and then I hear nothing. So it's just weird. But with HoneyBook, there's all these automations as well. So before that, I was doing everything manually. Emails, I was sending manually, setting up spreadsheets for my clients. Every new client gets a spreadsheet, of course. I was copy pasting that manually. All of it was just very time consuming. And I'm like, okay, I need some sort of system in place that makes this better. And that's why I hired Systems with Sam is her website, and she helped me get that all up and running, and that looks good. But with financial coaching, if this is something that you want to do, I do think having a platform is important, because that is how people are going to trust you. People will book a session with me before even talking to me. And that's, at the beginning, that was like way mind blowing. I'm like, yo, they don't even know me and they're paying me and trusting me. They're paying me and trusting me that I'm going to actually be on the call, you know? And two, they're trusting me by sharing all of their financial numbers. Some clients send me their like statements and all these different things, like with personal information. Obviously, I'm gonna keep that safe. I'm not gonna talk, it's all trustworthy with me. I know that in myself, but people don't know that coming to me. So at the beginning, that was like really surprising. More recently though, it makes more sense. I have a following. Like, you can see I'm a real person, and by having a platform and even me being transparent with my numbers, it allows people to feel comfortable with me and open up with me and trust that I'm going to be on the call and trust that I'm actually going to deliver the service. Because if you're just like, oh, I'm a financial coach, and you're just on, I don't know, emailing them or something, then they're going to be like, who is this? Like, spam, report spam, block this person, I don't know. It's just harder, I feel, to be a coach without some sort of platform, even if it's like just Instagram or a newsletter, having something where it's like, okay, this is a real person. I like them. I trust them. To get your first few clients, you may have to do it for free. That's, like I said, that's what I did. And that might be family, that might be friends, or if it's not free, then it's like a very low rate, just so you can get that initial experience to, one, make sure you even want to do it, you enjoy it, you find it fulfilling, you find it something that you can do, but also so that you can collect those testimonials, get some experience under your belt, be like, hey, this was the transformation that X client saw, and blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. And then once you've worked with a few people, paying clients, you can probably increase your rates. I wouldn't stay too low for too long. I feel like I said, that's a mistake that I made. At the end of the day, the service that you're providing as a financial coach, obviously if you're a good one, it's worth a lot more than what they're paying. If they can instill the habits that you're teaching them and even the knowledge that you're teaching them, they're going to get their money's worth. They're going to get their money back and then some. So you got to think of it from that perspective, but just be aware that clients are going to come to you wanting to save money and not wanting to spend a ton of money. So it can be hard to sell that. And if you're a salesy person, great, then you're fine. I'm not somebody who likes to be salesy. I was doing discovery calls. I still do discovery calls, but it's pretty few and far between. But for some time, I was doing like a discovery call daily. After I was working with that LinkedIn coach, it was so stressful to me. I really didn't enjoy the whole process of it, and like raising my rates so significantly and then jumping on sales call, and it just felt really intimidating to me. Not imposter syndrome. Like, I didn't think that I wasn't worth that rate. It's just it was also new to me. So I didn't feel comfortable being salesy and trying to convince this person and like digging into their emotions. I don't really like that. It didn't feel authentic to me. So that's why when I do have discovery calls now, it's more like I'll still ask the questions about finances, and I'll talk about my program, give the rate, and like I'm not gonna try to make people emotional on the call. Like, they're probably already feeling emotional. So there were some calls that I tried to do that, and maybe some of y'all that I've talked to are watching this, but it's just not worth it to me. Like, if you want to work with me, if you truly feel like this is going to help you, then that's when I want you to sign up, and I don't want to put anybody in any further financial distress. It just depends on how you want to operate as a business. Like, yes, you're going to make more money by being that person, by making them more emotional and digging into that, like twisting the knife basically. But I would rather make less money by being like staying authentic to who I am and what I'm comfortable with, because at some point it just wasn't enjoyable. Like, I don't like this. I don't like the sales calls, discovery. Like, I don't want to do this, and I didn't want to get to a point where I was in my business and not enjoying it. So trying to be that way didn't last very long. As far as investments with coaching, I haven't spent much money on things. Like, it's just having like a booking platform. Now I have HoneyBook, so that takes care of like the contract, the automation. People can book through there, all of that. I do wish I listened to Kelsa Dickey earlier. So if you're new to financial coaching or it's something you want to do, I suggest you listen to her. Tons of free content. I do wish I raised my prices sooner, and I wish I promoted myself more. Even still, to this day, it's something that I need to work on. The Sam, who I worked with, who helped set up HoneyBook for me, she also created an email funnel, like a sales funnel for my coaching, because it's something I've never had. And I know that I'm missing out on clients, because at the end of the day, I would love to work with more people. I know I can help more people. So that's still something that I am working on improving. And just in general, it's just something that slips my mind, I guess. Like, when I'm filming a video, I don't talk about coaching. I don't promote myself. And I I don't know, I don't think people will mind if I do. So it's just something I need to remember to do when I film certain videos. Again, same with financial coaching. Let me know if you have any specific questions and I will answer. So to wrap this up, I do want to just give some general thoughts about this. Sometimes people call me an influencer. I don't really feel like an influencer because I feel like influencers just influence, you know, in a sense that it's not fulfilling. And what I do is fulfilling. I think that's why a lot of content creators end up going back to work or go back to school or they get really like mentally distraught from creating just content because they're just literally showing their outfits of the day. Or I'm not saying that's not hard work. Like being a content creator is like, you try posting a TikTok 3 times a day. It's a lot. And obviously it's easier than a lot of other jobs, but it's not something that everybody can do. What ends up happening with a lot of true influencers who have like no, I hate to say this, but like no meaning behind what they're doing. And they're just like showing their life and going to yoga class and all these different things. They're like, yeah, you get the point. Yeah, there's no fulfillment behind it. So I think that's the mistake a lot of people end up going down. Like, yes, you have a following, yes, you're making money, but you don't feel good about what you're doing. But for me, as a content creator and a financial coach, it feels fulfilling. Like I am literally changing lives. I get comments left and right that somebody paid off debt because of me, somebody opened a Roth IRA because of me, blah, blah, blah. Like that's huge. That is so meaningful. I am the reason why you opened a Roth IRA. That's like the coolest thing I've ever heard. And that's huge. Like I just changed somebody's financial future. And that to me, that's impactful for my life in general, you know, versus somebody like, oh my God, I bought these pair of jeans because of you. So I think having the fulfillment behind what you're doing is very important. And that's how you're going to stick to things and actually feel good about the work that you put out. I've already said this, but consistency. Getting started is the biggest thing. Consistency though, after that. Do not just post 2 to 3 videos and expect for things to blow up. Also, do not post 100 videos and expect for things to blow up. Like it can take time. And if you truly want it, you will stick to it and you will be consistent and you'll eventually get there. If you listen to Alex Hormozy, he's great in my opinion. I really like Alex Hormozy. He talks about like just keep on create, like you're just going to create so much content that it's impossible for you to fail. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like it doesn't need to be daily, nothing like that, but I'm just going to keep on going. Like the time is passing anyway. Why wouldn't I? That's always been what I've thought. Like the time is passing anyway. I want to do this. So I'm just going to keep on posting and eventually you will get there. You may have to make some tweaks throughout that time, improve your editing, talk about different things, whatever it is, find what it is that you actually want to stick to. But by actually showing up, you will eventually get there. And I feel like I'm proof of that. You know, I've been on YouTube since 2011. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And I still don't make that much money from just YouTube alone. When you're first getting started, don't get caught up in the details. So you don't need an LLC. You don't worry about your logo. Your website doesn't need to be perfect. Like all these things that you're going to get caught up on, don't waste too much time on it. I did the same thing. I think everybody does. But yeah, big thing there is you don't need an LLC. I didn't have an LLC until 2024. Till 2024, y'all. And all that time I was making money. You can still write things off with taxes. Go to a tax person. It's another suggestion is hire, work with a CPA when you're going to file taxes. If you're making some money on the side and you want to, get tax advantages and all these different things, I do suggest working with somebody. But unless you're doing work where it's like something's really a liability, like you're installing roofs or something, that's different. You need an LLC for that. But if you're creating content on YouTube, like you don't need an LLC. Just wait for all that. Don't get caught up on it. It's a distraction. I already mentioned this, but don't invest too much at the beginning. Work with what you've got and spend just a little bit. Leverage your full-time job. Don't go and just quit your job being like, oh, I'm going to be a full-time YouTuber because it's going to take some time to grow. But you can use that money from your full-time job to invest in the things that are going to make your business possible or your content creation possible, but invest slowly. Make sure you actually want to do it first. So if you're going to go out and buy a camera, a microphone, and all these different things, and you only post 3 videos, you just wasted money. So work with what you've got and invest slowly. To be a content creator, you can literally start for free. Even with being a financial coach, like you can start for free. You can use like a booking platform. Maybe that will, I think you can use Calendly for free and people can still pay you through, I don't know, but there's options. There's for sure options. I think that's why I started with Zelle and Venmo is because I didn't want to have to pay for the booking. And even with that though, it's like 100 something per year. We talked about being authentic, being yourself, document things. That can go pretty far, like just showing what you're doing, showing your finances. Obviously not everybody wants to talk about finances, but documenting is a big thing. Don't worry about what others are going to think of you, your family, your friends. Like if they have a problem with it, if they are going to judge you for it, like you don't want them in your life. Like at this point, everybody creates content. People are making money from it, you know? Doesn't mean you need to act a fool on the internet or in public, of course, but like I'm putting myself out there, I make money from it. And if somebody doesn't understand that in my family or in my friend group, like so be it. If they think it's cringe, embarrassing, that's fine. Make sure you're tracking your income and expenses. If you do start this, so at the beginning it'll be pretty slow. There won't be much income, there won't be many expenses, but eventually it will get there. So if you can just start early with that habit, that's important, especially come tax time. If you do start making money, you may have to pay quarterly estimated taxes, so just something to be aware of. Learn how to do that. It's random times in the year. So April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and then January 15th. So it's not like a perfect quarterly schedule, something to be aware of. I think that's it. I've been talking for a long time. And yeah, as I keep saying, let me know if you have any questions. I can make a part 2 of this. But like I said, don't worry, I'm not going to shift gears and just only focus on business content. You probably won't see much more. If I get enough questions, I'll make another video, but otherwise I'll just respond in short form content. But thank you so much for being here, and truly thank you all for making this possible for me. I am living my dream job and I love it so much. It's absolutely been worth it. And I'm very excited to see what's to come for myself. So yeah, you can start from somewhere small and you'll be pretty surprised where it can take you and like all the opportunities. I feel like I've grown so much as a person by having this, like by being, I wouldn't call myself a full-on entrepreneur. I feel like I'm like a micro solopreneur, you know? But at the end of the day, it is a business. Whether you're a content creator, financial coach, whatever, there's business. You got to treat it like that. So good luck to you if you are going to dabble in these things. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. It really supports my channel. And I'll see you in my next one.